Hi guys, how we going? So I was chatting with Ginger Alden last night. I get on well with Ginger Alden. I think she's sweet. I'm a big fan of hers. She's even given me permission to read parts of her book, which I like, and it's a lovely book. I highly recommend it. Yeah, I've read quite a lot of this book. One day I will pick out little parts and we'll go through it. So every day, it's funny how I choose my topics. I have a massive backlog of topics. Yeah, all different topics, different subjects. But I keep getting drawn back into the same ones. So when I'm talking a lot about, the Smiths or Priscilla or Memphis Mafia, or Stanley, stuff like that, I literally, I'm trying to get off those topics, but so I got myself a nice cup of tea, guys. My throat is still a bit hoarse, but I am better. Not fully. I reckon I'm 80% better. But I'm still not quite right on my chest and my throat still, but I am better. Yeah. So anyway, I keep getting pulled back into the topics. Like I really want to go through this book, Anita Wood's book. I'm a massive fan of Anita Wood. I want to start reading Nash's book, Donna Presley's mum. I even want to start going through Lisa's book. Lisa Marie's book. It's just, but I just keep getting drawn back into things. It's like the disagreement we had with the YouTube channel yesterday. I didn't want to do that. That wasn't on my radar. Sorry. That wasn't even on, I sort of always, in my mind, I have an idea of where I'm going with my topics, with my videos or my live streams on defending Elvis, yeah? But then something happens. Bam, I had to defend myself, because I really feel that yesterday was about defending our right to be defenders. It was also about defending Louis, because that Facebook post was clearly aimed at me and our movement. But then, then Danny or Smith will say something that is aimed at me and Donna and our movement defending Elvis. And then Billy and Joe will release something that is clearly, it was obvious it was aimed at probably more Donna, and me, because of the topics I'm discussing, because I'm, some would see it as I am exposing the wrongdoing of the Smiths. But at the same time, I do respect the Smiths, Elvis's family, Elvis' cousin, Billy, and they were there. They grew up sometimes around Elvis, not all the time, because it's very obvious now that there were many years when they were not around as in the way of living there. Of course, they visited, they were family, yeah. So I just I feel like I keep getting pulled into these topics. So last night when I was talking with Ginger, we were chatting on Messenger. How can I say it? When I talk to Ginger, I very much try to play the middleman. I very much try to say, we accept that there are different points of views concerning many topics with Ginger. The Smiths have done loads of videos. Billy and Joe and Danny, concerning Ginger. It's bloody obvious that they don't like Ginger. I think that is one thing I can tell 100%. It's so obvious. You just got to listen to the videos. That's my opinion. I'm sure that they'll do a video saying, "Oh, we have no problem with Ginger at all," but it's obvious. Yeah, it's obvious Danny doesn't like her as well. But I will say this: that Linda is a clear favourite concerning the girlfriend that Elvis had in the late 70s. Actually a bit sooner than that, in the 70s. Let's rephrase that. In the 70s. Yeah. When I say a clear favourite, I mean with the Smiths. Yeah. With the Memphis Mafia. Yeah. It's pretty obvious, isn't it, guys? You've only got to watch all the old interviews. They all liked Linda. They missed her when she went. I know that Linda gets a lot of grief. We've got her book. Where is it? I do have her book, and we have read quite a lot of it. It's here somewhere. Linda did say things that I didn't like, but generally, Linda speaks beautifully of Elvis. She definitely defends him. She has made mistakes with things she has said in the past, which I wish she didn't. You guys have got strong feelings about, her spending habits and the credit card and Elvis paying the rent for her apartment. I've heard it all. But I am a fan of Linda Thompson. Coincidentally, she's with Donna Presley on a Elvis cruise as we speak, and I can tell they're having a fantastic time. And I'm hoping, I have been chatting with Donna and Karen as well. I'm hoping that we can get Linda to support the fact that we defend Elvis and stand up to the things that we feel are unfair to him, and whoever said them, not just the Smiths. Yeah. So let's just see what Linda says. She's very busy. She's between a rock and a hard place. I've discussed with you the Clicky Club. The Clicky Club. I think it's a term that I've sort of made up on my channel. The Clicky Club are the people that are going around to the events. They need to make a living. They need to pay the bills. I understand why they do it. It feels good to be important, to get a lot of attention, especially if you genuinely grew up or knew Elvis or was his ex-girlfriend or, loved Elvis. I get it, we all need money. So the problem with the Clicky Club that I have, even though I also can see that some of these people have no choice because they need the income. Yeah. Is you do have the people that have betrayed Elvis sometimes at some of these events, that have double-crossed him, shared private details about his personal life that should have been kept private. You do sort of have these people sometimes in the same room. So I do sometimes question loyalty. I do sometimes think, you're in the same room at this event, at this Elvis event, wherever it is in the world. But some of these people either lied or twisted the truth or backstabbed or said the most disgusting things about poor Elvis, who could never defend himself because he wasn't here. So, an example is obviously Dave Hepler. Another example is Dave Stanley. And so I call it the Clicky Club, the Clicky Elvis money-making club. So I have feelings about that. Yeah. So anyway, I'm chatting with Ginger Alden. She's so sweet. Yeah. Elvis's fiance, Elvis's last girlfriend. No matter what people's feelings are, because I know that passions are very high concerning Ginger. I know that this will get a big reaction. I don't actually talk about Ginger that much, but I know when I do, I will get a very strong reaction, whether it be a hell of a lot of support. Usually it's like 90% support, yeah? Then we get the haters jump in and say the most horrific things about Ginger Alden, yeah? Look, before we get into it, I understand Lisa said how she felt about Ginger, and of course I've always said I stand by Lisa Marie. I've always said that. Yeah. I still say this. Ginger will have how she saw things, and Lisa will have how she saw things. Yeah. It's no, it's like people keep saying to me, oh, we're entitled to our opinions. We're entitled to our opinions. I agree. We are. So Danny Smith will have his point of view. I will have my point of view. Even Priscilla. Yeah, let's not even go there. I personally think Priscilla is a compulsive liar, but that's just my point of view. We're allowed to agree to disagree, guys, but it doesn't mean we can't disagree. This is the bit that people don't understand. I'll get a load of messages saying, "Oh, how dare you say that?" About whoever. Yeah, usually about the Smiths. Yeah. And I'm like, we're entitled to our opinion, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you are. And so am I. Yeah. This is what people have to understand. Okay, we can agree to disagree, but allow me to disagree, just like I allow you to disagree. Even yesterday with our situation with the YouTube channel, we got different opinions. We both are seeing things from a different point of view. Now, you know how I feel. I feel that YouTube channel is very blinkered, very brainwashed. I understand why she's brainwashed, because for the last 40 to 50 years, we have been spoon-fed this version of events. Yeah? Priscilla, the poor victim that was a caged animal at Graceland. We've been lied to, in my opinion. Then we have this version of events from some of the Memphis Mafia, Red West, Sunny West, Dave Heaven. So then we have all of the stories that have been put out by the Smiths, by Billy Smith, by Joe Smith. That version. Yeah? Then we have Ginger Alden comes along. Her version. Now, one thing I can say about Ginger Alden is she very much was there in the last 9 months. She saw exactly what was happening around Elvis. She knew exactly who was hanging around Elvis. Whoever they are. Sorry, my throat is bothering me. Whether it's the Stanleys, certain members of the Memphis Mafia, or the Smiths, or even Danny Smith, who would have been a child, of course. Was he 13 or 14, 13 probably? So yeah, guys, anyone that's trying to attack me and insult me and put me down and belittle me and call me names and say that I'm this monster, in the same way as you can have different opinions, I can as well. Yeah, I have the right to defend. Yeah, I know that it's sacrilegious that I stand up against things that the Smiths have done and said, and the documentaries and the biographies and books and all the rest of it. I know that the Smiths are worshipped. Oh, I'm not worthy, like gods, but I can still have my opinions. Yeah. So, and they're going to be different than the Smith worshippers. I really feel that many of the people that worship the Smiths, same goes for Priscilla Presley, that worship Priscilla Presley, have forgotten that Elvis is who they support. Elvis is why we're all here. Elvis is the person they should show loyalty to. Elvis should be treated like Elvis, not the Smiths treated like Elvis, not Priscilla treated like Elvis, So, people try to twist what we do into something very warped and weird. We just defend Elvis. We stand up for Elvis. He can't stand up for himself. We stand up for Lisa. She can't stand up for herself. That's all we do. There's nothing more to it. Okay. So if these people have said things that I think are unfair, whether it's in a book or biography or a documentary or a tabloid or on a YouTube channel, surely we have the right to say something. Yeah? We love Elvis. Right. I keep coughing and spluttering. Right. So I want to read what Ginger Alden said to me. I may have to spray myself. In fact, I'm gonna, because my throat's being. So obviously, this was given to me by Nicola. I thought my throat was going to be all right for this video, but it's not. I'm making an annoying noise every 2 seconds. So I'm going to spray this stuff. Thank you, Nicola, and to see if it helps. Woo! Actually tastes all right, but it's a bit of a sting. Yeah. Okay, let's hope it works. And I'm going to take one of these. I'm going to suck on one of these sweets as well. Otherwise, you guys got to put up with me popping and spluttering every 2 seconds. I don't think you deserve that. But thanks, Nicola. Nicola sent me this stuff. Right, got my own little box for it that Nicola sent me. Little wooden box. Thanks, Nicola. Do you know what? That feels better already. So I want to read, even though I'm sucking on this sweet. So I was talking to Ginger last night. Just every now and then, we message each other. So I don't think she's going to mind me sharing this with you. I don't think. So she knows that I've been having disagreements with the Smiths. She knows that some of the topics of Memphis Mafia Kid, the videos posted, same goes for the last two videos, definitely, of Elvis Fans Matter, are aimed at me, aimed at Donna Presley. The top, the things we've been bringing up, like the Aunt Delta thing, and a few other things, yeah. Donna's name, how much time Donna spent at Gracelands and Circle G, right? Stuff like that. Just, it's pretty obvious that the last few videos, very recent videos, to do with our movement, defending Elvis, what we are exposing or standing up to or criticizing, call it what you want. We could say malign. I'm going to have to take the sweet out. I'm not going to be able to talk with that sweet in my mouth, but it does feel better. Right. So I basically say to her, look, there's something going on with Billy and Joe and Danny. Yeah. So I didn't even know she was going to do this. So she responds, Ginger, I really hope you don't mind me sharing this. Yeah. Because she doesn't know that I'm sharing this. She didn't tell me to, but I don't think she minds. So Ginger, in case if you're not happy with me sharing this, I'm sorry, but I don't think you will be unhappy, because I just think you were just sharing how you feel. So I mentioned the recent videos. Yeah, obviously I do keep Ginger updated with what is going on my channel. I send her videos quite regularly and little messages quite regularly. Yeah, to me, she supports defending Elvis. She supports our channel. So I like to keep her updated, but she's very busy, guys. She's got other things to do. Yeah. So she says, thanks, Louis. She clearly says she doesn't watch the Smiths. She says it, yes, I don't watch them. Okay. She then says, my name has been used and abused as clickbait a fair amount on their channels, with their completely false or exaggerated stories being told at various times. Yeah, but, that's quite I'm expecting a reaction from that, from either Billy and Joe or Danny Smith. But that is how she feels. I'll repeat it. My name has been used and abused as clickbait a fair amount on their channels, and it's true. I've found quite a few videos. I'm going to play one now, where her, they talk about her quite a lot, and they're quite negative. I do think the Lisa Marie situation, especially when Lisa Marie said what she said in her book, has really been thrown in her face. Because the Smiths don't like Ginger. It's so obvious. So once Lisa posted the thing that Lisa just, she just didn't like. I think sometimes Lisa wasn't keen on Ginger. Sometimes she would overhear Elvis and Ginger having their disagreements. Yeah, I believe every word Lisa says. But I also know from watching the videos that Danny Smith has made that Lisa also had times where she got on very well with Ginger. In one breath, Danny says, what, Lisa refused to go on the go-karts with Ginger. But then he says, but later on they would go on the go-karts together. So I accept that Ginger's relationship with Lisa wasn't always good. Yeah, I accept that. I accept that there were times when it seems, because of what Lisa said in her book, which I fully believe Lisa. Of course I support Lisa Marie. Of course I do. Yeah, I love her book. I do agree that it was a rocky thing between Lisa and Ginger, and I accept fully that Elvis and Ginger may have argued sometimes. Definitely, yeah. Like all romances, like all relationships. Come on, let's be real. I do think Ginger was a straight talker. So if she saw things that were going on when in that 9 months that she was there, I know she didn't live there, but you know what I mean, guys. I accept that there was things that Ginger witnessed to do with the Stanleys, the Smiths, the Memphis Mafia, people that were hanging around Elvis, that she probably didn't feel happy with, and picked up on it with Elvis. You know, said to Elvis, tried to make Elvis aware of things. I accept she did that. It's so obvious she wasn't accepted. Ginger wasn't accepted, guys. It's clear. Yeah. None of them accepted her. Yeah. Linda was really missed. I really believe that. Everybody missed Linda because Linda was one of the boys. Yeah. She hung out with, whether it be the Memphis Mafia or the band members, or, you know, everyone liked Linda. Linda was really close with Lisa Marie. She loved Linda had formed a lovely bond with Lisa Marie. They were very close. Yeah. I completely understand that Lisa missed Linda a lot. And it was it was upsetting to a lot of people when Linda when Linda and Elvis split up. You know, I've heard all the stories, guys, about the 20 grand credit card and Elvis paying her rent for years. And, you know, I've heard it all. Yeah. Sorry. And I'm sure I'm going to hear it again. Okay. My throat's really annoying me, guys. I apologize. So, my name has been used and abused as clickbait a fair amount for their channels, with either completely false or exaggerated stories being told at various times. You know, that is a key word. Exaggerated stories. Yeah, I 100%. I am not happy with many of the things the Smiths say. I do think a lot of the things are twisted and exaggerated. I really do. I'm not saying that none of them are true, because some of them may be. I do say this, that some of the things that are said are private, personal things that should not be repeated, because Elvis wouldn't have wanted these things repeated. That private means private. Yeah, Elvis is entitled that his own family don't share details that embarrass him, degrade him, belittle him, that he wouldn't want shared. Yeah, I will say that. And generally, I've listened to, I think, probably every interview Ginger's ever given, and she doesn't. 99% of the time, I don't hear Ginger saying anything degrading to Elvis. I don't. Yeah. So, she defends Elvis. She goes against what people say, and she speaks about Elvis in those last 9 months in a beautiful way. Yeah, I'm not going to go into it, but she really does. You may see it on some of the clips I play now. The Smiths don't. They do tell the sweet stories, but they also trash. Stanley's, sometimes they say the nice stories, not that often, but they mainly trashed, because it was very, you know, sensationalism was the king. You know, the money was, if you go on a news program or a tabloid or write a book or do an interview, yeah, let's talk trash. We get more attention, we get more money, we get more fame, because I really do think that Rick and Dave Stanley were fame hungry. I also think Dee was fame hungry. Now with the Smiths, I think it was slightly different. I feel there was a bit of resentment there, a bit of anger, a bit of underlying bad feeling. But I also fully accept, of course, the Smiths love Elvis. I know they do. So does Danny. I know they do. I would never doubt that. And they are, of course, they are family. I try to respect that the Smiths are family. It's awkward. If I had it my way, I would be defending all of the family, all of the bloodline. I don't like that I have to single out people. I really wish that the Smiths came on side and joined with Donna Presley, and just together we defended. And obviously, I would love apologies for the mistakes of the past and the wrongdoing. You know how I feel, guys. To be told again and again, truth is truth. and to use that as an excuse to trash Elvis, their blood member, their family member, nah, I ain't falling for it. I wouldn't do it to my family. I don't think most people would. Most people would be loyal to their family members, even if they had disagreements, even if they fell out, even if there was some bad blood sometimes. Nah, there's no excuse for it, especially when it goes into a documentary or a book or a tabloid. So then she goes, and I like this bit. She's, well, she says, I would have happily spoken to Billy years ago to help with any of his speculation and things misunderstood. Okay, so obviously the Smiths are entitled to their views. She's saying years ago she would have spoken to them, give her side of the story, yeah. But after what has been said and done in the past and even recently, it's true, even recently, okay, in regard to Elvis and myself, that would be something hard for me to do. I get it. You go on YouTube, you see these different interviews on different platforms, social media, call it what you want, TV, whatever, yeah. And if you feel that they are against you, they are anti you, your guard's going to come up, you're going to get defensive, you're going to pull away, which is basically what's happened with Ginger. Okay? 100% they have gone after Ginger. 100% they want to discredit her, the relationship, her, the friend, you know, I just think any opportunity to discredit Ginger, they take it. That's just how I see it, yeah? But I also fully accept there is another side to things, because Lisa has her version of things as well. When I say her version, I fully believe Lisa. I'm on side with Lisa. I fully accept her words in her book. But that doesn't mean that Ginger sees it in that way. Ginger will see it differently. She's got her point of view. Lisa sees, says what happened. Yeah. So what I find a little bit awkward is how what Lisa said is being used to insult Ginger. That's how I see it. Yeah. I do get the feeling there was good and bad times. Yeah. So good days, bad days with Ginger, with Lisa, concerning the relationship with Elvis, concerning the relationship she had with Elvis's daughter. Yeah. So Ginger's a very sweet, lovely, good-hearted, kind lady. Yeah. So come on, Lisa was a child. So would Ginger ever be not nice to a child, to Elvis's child? Anyone that says that, I would question that. But kids are very headstrong. Even Danny, he has reminded us many times. Lisa always got her way. She was very strong-minded. If she didn't get her way, you know about it. So she was a typical kid, the kid of Elvis. So, and what comes with that? I love the way Lisa is. I love her rebellious, strong-minded. I love it. Elvis is my dad. I like it. But I can see how that sometimes would get people's back up. And even Danny Smith said we were spoiled. We were all spoiled. Danny Smith says it. All of us were spoiled, including Lisa. And I don't mean that as an insult. I'm just saying I've heard it repeated quite a few times. So then she says, Billy years ago to help him with any speculation, things misunderstood. But after what has been said and done in the past and even recently in regard to Elvis and myself, that would be something hard for me to do. She says something hard for me to do. She doesn't say she wouldn't do it. I sense from that under the right circumstances, Ginger Alden would talk to the Smiths. Come on, it's Elvis's family. It's Elvis's cousin's wife. Get it? Danny is second cousin. So I think I'd love it if these people talk to each other. I do. Honestly, I'd love it. Yeah. Including Donna Presley, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So I'd love it if Ginger and Donna could talk. Yeah. Agree to disagree. different opinions, but at least they could talk. They were there. Yeah. People keep reminding me we were there. You know, we lived the life. We grew up without. Yeah. Okay. Well, to the people that were there that lived the life, that was around Elvis, that are family, that are blood, or ex-girlfriend, or Memphis Mafia, or get it, Stanley's, whatever. It's better to get on. Better to get on and show regret, make apologies. Get it? Never trash Elvis. Yeah. Then move forward. Yeah. Donna has never trashed Elvis, Donna Presley. So we're pretty clear there. I think Ginger has been pretty good. Ginger, when I've looked at her track record for how she speaks of Elvis, pretty good, guys. Pretty good. With Linda, but Linda still speaks beautifully about Elvis. She 100% defends Elvis, and I think she's lovely. I really like Linda. I fully support Linda Thompson. Yeah, fully support her. I'd love to talk to her. I really hope she joins us on our defending Elvis journey. You know, what we do here. You know, Team Elvis and all that. Who knows? So then she says, so after what has been said and done in the past, and even recently in regard to Elvis and myself, that would be something hard for me to do. Maybe one day he will look back, so I think she's talking about Billy Smith, and see how harsh and hurtful some things said were about Elvis and me. And some sort of much deserved apology will be made, but I highly doubt it. Elvis would surely want that, but it is what it is. It's funny because that's what Danny Smith has been saying lately, isn't it? It is what it is. It is what it is. Danny, it is what it is. So I'll just say that last bit again. Elvis and me, and some sort of much deserved apology will be made, but I highly doubt it. Elvis would sure want that, but it is what it is. And she does mention the story of when the Smiths did this ridiculous story in, obviously, Elvis and the Memphis Mafia in this book. She does mention it. The one of Elvis allegedly switching his body, running off with someone called Mary. Was that the name? She mentions she remembers reading it. Yeah. That's all she says. She says, I recall Billy's Elvis is Alive story. Yeah. I mean, come on. She was around when that was going on. So was Lisa Marie. Yeah. Just reading it must have been quite upsetting for everyone because it's just ridiculous. I know that 20 years later they apologized for doing it. It was not just in the book. It was in tabloids. It went around the world, guys. This affected a lot of people. Yeah. This was big news. And I actually think a lot of people, even to this day, think that Elvis is still alive. So I thought that was a really heartfelt message to me from Ginger Alden. I basically say to her, look, I don't hate these people, but I have to stand up for Elvis. That's basically what I say. And I agree, an apology is needed. I say that, I agree. And then the other thing I say is Linda Thompson was extremely popular. Then when Linda was gone, you know, after Elvis and Linda split up, and Linda obviously moves out, a lot of people just couldn't accept it. A lot of people, they missed Linda, including Lisa. Yeah. Some of the Memphis Mafia. And she was clearly loved by Billy Smith and Joe Smith and Danny. Yeah. Which is fine. You know, I'm not against that. I like Linda. I completely see why they missed Linda. Linda was very good for Elvis. You know, when Elvis split up from Priscilla, Linda was a breath of fresh air. Yeah. I really do think Linda did help Elvis. Honestly, I really do. Yeah. We can't ignore that Elvis and Ginger were together for quite a short time. 9 months is a short time. There's only so much Ginger could do. I do think she was a bit out of her depth. She had inherited a man that had a serious problem with prescription medication. Obviously, he was older. She was only 20. So 100% Elvis must have loved Ginger to get engaged to her. Yeah, you guys have very strong views about if they would or wouldn't have got married. That is completely your opinion. I'm, you know, I wasn't inside Elvis's head. My guess is that the like all relationships, yeah, there was ups and downs in the relationship, and Elvis is dealing with being very unwell. He's dealing with this book's just been released. You've got Priscilla Presley has just placed a massive debt on Graceland, a lien, a charge that must have really put a spanner in the works for Elvis and Vernon concerning Graceland, his home. My guess is that they even feared losing it to Priscilla. So Priscilla, she was on the attack as well. There was a lot going on in that last year. But I also say this, that Ginger still speaks beautifully of Elvis, how he was looking forward to the future, wanted a family, wanted to get married, was looking forward to the tour, still having fun, still doing things with Lisa. And, they went to see the James Bond film, didn't they? The Spy Who Loved Me, and went to the fair. And we know about Elvis going to the funeral, taking Ginger's family to her grandfather's funeral, using his aeroplane and stuff. And he would sit there when the preacher, the reverend, whatever you call it, was doing his thing and singing. Elvis gave him the nod of approval, and I think Charlie Hodge was with him. So a mixed topic here. This is an introduction into what I'm gonna be doing. So my part 2 is playing quite a lot of video clips from Danny, from Billy and Joe, from Ginger Alden, to get a little feel for Ginger Alden. And remember, I fully support Ginger Alden. Yeah, I wasn't there. I wasn't there before anyone says it. I didn't grow up with them. I didn't live with them. I don't have Elvis blood in my veins. I'm not a relative. I speak as a fan. Okay? I don't know anything for fact at all. In fact, we're just having a discussion. I'm sharing opinions. That's all I'm doing. Yeah? All right, guys, I'm going to upload this. This is part 1, and then we're going to do part 2. I was hoping to do a Presley Mania review of her video, Rhonda's video she did last night, and there was another thing I planned on doing, which was a bit of a surprise, but who knows? Who knows, guys? No time in the day. But this is my morning, let's get going video, okay? Now, please understand, I don't hate any of these people. We are just a Defending Elvis YouTube channel that has discussions and we share our views. You don't have to agree with us. You're entitled to disagree with us. There's no hate here. I know that people keep saying, oh, Louis all about hate, that's all he cares about. No, I'm just defending Elvis. No, it's not hate. I know you wish it was hate, but nah. Even with the situation with the YouTuber yesterday, there was no hate there. I just defended myself because that person was two-faced and backstabbed me on a Facebook page and to one of my enemies, Okay, guys, take care. Love you all. See you on part 2.